Mambo vipi, karibu katika Gen Yas Talk, sehemu ambapo mimi na rafiki yangu Warda tunapata nafasi ya kuzungumza na watu ambao wamepiga hatua. Lengo ni kujifunza wamefikaje hapo, na wewe uchukue notes 2-3 na kuangalia jinsi gani ambapo wewe unaweza kupiga hatua, kwa sababu lengo letu ni sisi pamoja na wewe tuweze kufika sehemu ambapo tuna imani tunaweza kufika. Karibu sana, mimi ni Willy Nkya na kama kawaida niko na
Hi guys, Miko yuko na Weza. Yes, Willy yuko na Weza. Kila siku yuko na Weza na sisi tupo na Yas. Tunaendelea kumove na Yas na leo tuna mgeni mmoja ambaye ni mashuhuri sana. Lakini sasa itabidi nitumie kinge to introduce him. So today we have a very special guest. His name is Richard Ashby. He's a property developer, but also investor, and he has a major investment in Zanzibar on properties, and he is doing real estate, and also he is a broker. And one of his projects is called Shivo in Zanzibar. It's very, very famous. And today we want to know from him, where did Shivo come from? How did he start? And where can he inspire us as a youth? And where can we start to pick on and, reach to that level of us being rich, being investors, and working these kind of big projects. Shiv, welcome, Richard. We are happy to have you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, how do you feel?
I feel great, man. It's a beautiful office, and I'm very impressed with this 33rd floor view. We hope one day we can have Shivo Towers, 33rd floor. Dar edition.
Okay.
Shivo 1. We can.
Shivo.
I already got the name.
You already got the name?
Yeah, but we just need to find the land and maybe finish what we're doing in Pache first.
First? Oh, okay. I would really love to know, where does the word Shivo come from?
This is a ridiculous story. There was a Boda Boda driver in Pache, and his name was Shivo.
Oh.
Shivo. And one of the guys that was with us, he was from Dar, and he was like, why do you call this guy Shivo? Because do you realize what that means? Because he would go and get us errands and stuff, and, bring us whatever we needed while we were working or when we were staying in hotels in Paget. And he was just like, why do you call this guy? And he was convinced that he was just playing a joke on us, because he realized that the word means master or sensei. So he was convinced that the Boda Boda was just taking the piss out of us so that we would go, hey, master, can you go and bring us this? Master, please, can you turns out it's no, his name's actually Shibo.
Oh.
Shibo. Okay. And so, anyway, that joke just turned into Shivo, and then we just called it Shivo ever since. And as it happens, it just seems to be a kind of a cool word, and that's it.
This is an interesting fact. I wish everyone can know it.
Yeah.
And Willy, what do you have for us?
You came in Tanzania at a time when the world was going through the pandemic.
Yeah.
Maybe take us back. What made that move, and how was it? What was your first impression when you came to Tanzania?
Man, yeah, I'd never been to Africa before, so I was really complete a fish out of water. I hadn't been I'd been to Colombia. I thought that was kind of third world kind of place. No, that's obviously not. I didn't come anywhere where we didn't have roads, and that's what's such an amazing story, because this is August 2020 in Nungwi, and that was my first destination, and it was just tracks, and that just was so rogue for me. The way with the rocks, because the rocks and the coral is so sharp. You're driving it I used to take Boda Bodas everywhere, just because I used to hate sitting in the Alpha, just going like this, just everywhere you go. I just hated that. So I just spent 9 months just on the back of a Boda Boda, just whizzing around Nungwi. But I was really this is an alien place.
And I want to know, was it the moment that you were already here that you realized there's a potential in investing, or when you were still at your home country, that's where you realized and you found out about Zanzibar and you thought, maybe I can just go there and invest? Where the investment idea come?
Okay, well, yeah, it's completely the opposite. I came like a COVID refugee. My country was just, mental at the time. Everyone was talking about lockdowns and jabs, and I never even had a COVID test. I didn't like any of that. I'm out, see you later. So I went to the south of France, and then they were talking about a second lockdown. And south of France had opened up at that time.
Yeah.
And so Antibes is like a nice place next to Nice and Saint-Tropez. These are like famous, like nice places. So I was like, okay, I'm in a hotel, south of France, life's pretty good, no lockdown. And then they said like they were going to lock down again. And the hotel said, oh, we want to do like a mandatory COVID test for all the people. So I was like, okay, I'm done. I flew the next day. My friend was already in Nungwi. She'd been talking me into coming here, but I'd never been to Africa before. So I was like, oh, you know, life's pretty good here. South of France, not bad. You know, I got it good. But as soon as they threatened with that jab thing or testing, whatever it was, I was like, I was done. So from there, I just rocked up in Nungwi. So really, it was just a kind of an escapee kind of vibe. And then for 9 months, I was just cruising around, just like, I don't know what to do. So there was no investment idea. And I was just a broker at the time from back home. I was selling real estate for 20 years in London. So I hadn't really done development. I was just selling. So I was like, oh, what am I going to do here? Just like drive around in a 4x4 selling plots in Nungwi. I saw that there were some people from Remax doing that kind of thing. And I just thought that's not the dream for me. So anyway, I met a guy from Dar who was into development, who had a construction firm. And they wanted to get into projects here, but they didn't have any development experience. They had only like industrial construction experience, didn't have residential experience. They were like, you've got luxury residential experience, like I can build, like let's go. So that was how that formed, yeah. So we came up with the first project, the chalet villas that you've seen. What we finished
Very
there.
beautiful.
And then we kind of fell out on the completion. So then I went my own way, bought my own land, and then we're planning the new projects, which is the Shivo Towers and the Shivo Gardens, which is like mixed villas and apartments in a kind of big resort kind of vibe.
That is perfect. And guys, hapa ndo tunaporudi kukwambia kwamba Yas wanakwambia uanze popote. Inaweza ikawa unahitajika labda tu uende kurelax hata Kigamboni huko, ukapata opportunities, ukazunguka hata kama uko bored. Inawezekana opportunities zina lies in your boredom. And Yas wanakwambia anzia pale ulipo. Boredom yako inaweza ndo ikawa opportunity yako. Please.
Kabisa. So kama hujapata, so you were a dalali, he was a broker. Broker in Swahili is sort of like dalali, and now you're a developer. Can you explain the difference in that? Because some people might think real estate is just becoming a dalali, not forgetting what a developer does. And maybe if you don't mind breaking that down for people to understand, how can somebody become a developer?
Honestly, I'm still just a dalali.
You're still a dalali?
I was a glorified receptionist, you know, with an Instagram page.
With a very active and very good Instagram page.
Yeah, it's a good question. I guess I had a lot of experience of selling to investors in London in like luxury residential development. So my experience comes from a very, very competitive, very tough market. Like, you know, everyone there's from like top universities, all your competitors are all like the most charming, you know, dudes you've ever met. Like it's really, really high level. So that was good training. But apart from that, my skill set is really just, I'm just in marketing.
Just a marketer.
Yeah.
But then you saw a potential in being an investor and also a developer.
Right.
You saw that in one shell and just thought, maybe this is what I can take on.
Yeah, it was. So the inspiration actually came from the first partnership on that project. I realized I was raising all the money for this project and then handing over the development control to another partner. So I was like, actually, this is not like London. You can't just raise that much money in Africa and then hand it to somebody else, put your name on the front and then hope that they get the finish right. You know, it's like it's not the same. Like somebody who's a contractor out here versus a contractor in London, it's a different story. So I was like, okay, if I'm gonna raise that much money, I'd better have control over the finish, the materials, everything. So that was how it actually happened. So it was more like, stepping up to the plate by obligation. I was like, you know, okay.
I can do this.
Yeah, well, I've got to, because someone has to, because I'm the one that faces the rap if it goes wrong, so I'm going to have to.
There, you mentioned about collecting money and like collecting funds. I wish to know, because these are a huge amount of money. I was actually looking roughly, it can be almost 40 or above 40 million USD projects. I wish to know, where can somebody find these kind of funds? Example, we have youth in Tanzania and they would wish to explore this kind of market, but they don't even know where to start. How did you start? Where did you start to collect the money, the funds?
Piece by piece. piece by piece. You know, there's if you go for sort of institutional, if you're trying to, right, okay, so the market in Zanzibar is so fast growing that institutional or larger investors are so scared that if you raise chunks of money from them, they're so nervous that they'll just tie you up with conditions. Whereas if you're better off coming from a background probably like mine, where you're just into sort of high volume, scaled marketing, raising lots of small amounts of money. Because for the individual, if you think about an investor that's buying an apartment or a house, it's like, okay, 70 grand, 150 grand, 200 grand in stage payments. It's like, in terms of the risk level, it's much more controlled than somebody saying, okay, you seem like a nice guy, here's $10 million, off you go in the middle of Africa and all the best. Like, it's harder. Yeah. But the risk decision is easier when it's around $150,000, particularly if it's like 40K now, 50K now, and then we get to see you start to produce it. And as I can see my house gradually getting built, I can start to put more money in as we go. So it's all about trust metrics. You know, you're as a broker, you're basically, as I see it, you're just constantly feeding like a melting pot of like trust metrics. So like Instagram, I use it for that purpose. I use Instagram stories for just constantly feeding like evidence of like progress and just convincing evidence of like competence, let's say, right? You can't just do it like a flash in the pan, like here's a fancy presentation or spend a lot of money on a fancy model or get a nice car and drive around. It just doesn't work like that. You know, you need to be constantly investing in things that show a convincing over time, that stack up like bricks. So like if you go on our Instagram page and you look through my highlights, you can see just years of relentless work since we've been here. You know, whether that's trips to Dubai to meet the structural engineer, or different sketches that you've seen come to light for the earliest projects. And that's also the history as well. People are concerned about, scams and, like people kind of like coming and going. But like, if you go on our highlights, you can see the sketches that then became construction, that then became finished product, which we're now renting out, which I can now show you the rental statistics. I can show you a year's rental track record, and I can tell you examples of like some of these owners that, they've never even been to see the house that we've been managing for them for a year, that we sold to them 3 years ago. They've never even been here yet. We're just sending them the money overseas. So it's like a long journey that like you can't fake. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
People instinctively can tell that like the test of time, right? You can't fake things over the long term. So I use a lot of transparency, a lot of kind of visibility, which a lot of people are scared of here.
Yes.
A lot of people, particularly my competitors, they're afraid to sort of share their secrets, and they're afraid of being copied. I don't give a damn about
You're here to inspire.
It's like, whatever, you want to copy me, you're always going to be a year behind anyway. So I don't care. And it's happening.
I like that. I think
I'm going to use that.
It's copy me, but you're going to be a year behind. I like the fact that you mentioned Instagram, because we are Instagram heavy as young people, social media heavy in general. And I like that the fact that you're using it not more only to document your journey, but also to allow people to see and learn from your journey. That's very nice. Are you only on Instagram, or other platforms? What other digital platforms do you perhaps leverage in this digital age?
Yeah, it is only Instagram, and you're right. I do it as a kind of a social. A lot of it, I'm conscious at the time that I'm posting that I'm thinking about who is the viewer and who might be inspired sort of by it, and I'm not intimidated by anyone in terms of like competitors or people watching what we do, and people always warn me about that. Literally, they go like, they even warn me about the government. I'm like, what have I got to hide? I'm here to work. I'm here to pay taxes. I'm here to inspire. I've got nothing to hide. So like, I just feel like use the platform to share and inspire. But for me, these are tertiary benefits. The primary benefit is I know that the buyer is looking at what I'm doing and they're saying, Jesus, there's no secrets here. right? If I'm looking to invest in you and you're literally putting everything out on the table, then you're telling me everything that I need to know in terms of is this a trustworthy person? So like ultimately it's a fundraising exercise, but with the fringe benefit of helping and inspiring people because we show people their transparent journey.
Yes.
So they're the two things that may benefit. I don't have any other platforms because I just don't have time.
Oh, you don't have time. And
so anyone want to lend a hand, just hit me up.
Shivo Tanzania.
Shivo Tanzania. You guys, Shivo Tanzania. If you can manage social media, I told you guys, in Generation Yas Talk, we give you deals. And here is the deal.
In one of your posts on social media, you spoke about mindset. One of the things that I like from your social media, you always write, this is for winners. Winners. What does a winner look like? And what does that mean for a person who doesn't understand? Am I a winner? Who's a winner?
Got it. I also like this because it's another thing that can be misconstrued as like arrogant, which is not. And so like what I really love about our page is we attract like exactly this kind of paradoxical misinterpretation like all the time. And there's like a whole tribe that kind of follows us, and then there's a whole tribe that like just completely wants to misunderstand everything we say and misconstrue it. And so it's like, for me, it's not an elitist idea at all. It's about, positive sort of optimistic mindset. For me, like it's a glass half full kind of mindset. It's about like not sweating the small stuff again, which links back to what we were just saying. Like, I really hate this kind of like mindsets where people tie themselves up on small details, or when they just like obsessing over, these sort of small problems that could, like I said, can be solved with a bigger solution. It can be solved with a more positive outlook, can be solved with a broader vision and mindset. So that, like a winner to me is just like people that don't sweat the small stuff. Like I just really hate that. I find it sort of, it's a depressing way to waste time. Crying over spilt milk and just sort of tying people up over like minutia and creating completely ridiculous systems while, the pot's burning on the stove. It's about focusing on the most important task at the time. And a lot of the time, there's one client of mine who has this amazing phrase where he says like, do best, it's a Greek phrase, I've forgotten what it, Ingli Kenyora or something like that. Do best what the time demands of you. Okay. Which is like saying like in any instance, there is something which you need to be doing more than anything. And so it's like, if the bills are like stacking up, the one thing you have to be doing is selling.
Yeah.
Like not crying about like, the budget for the stationery. Like right now there's a deadline and you need to go sell. Like, so that's the winning mindset. It's about like not creating wars over, fighting over storms in teacups.
Yeah.
It's about like how can I solve the biggest problem right now? Because that's going to make all of the rest of them just completely pale in comparison. The winner's mindset for me is like, it's just being able to have like, it's not like blind optimism. It's like a broad awareness of the real pitfalls that are coming. Yeah. Just saying like, it's a valiant mindset. It's just saying there's a wolf at the door. Yeah. Like there's a massive boulder rolling down the hill and it's going to kill all of us. I'm going out there and I'm going to slay the ox, you have to like, it's not just, I think that there's a kind of fake optimism, which is just sort of seeing the positive in everything. Right? Which is just madness in my view. It's like, no, like my optimism comes from knowing how deadly dangerous the world is.
Okay.
So it's like, I'm just waking up because there's a real threat out there. You've got to really solve problems, how you got to really solve problems? Well, you've got to really be positive. You've got to really go sell. You've got to really go win something. You've got to help these people. Yeah. You've got people's money that you're taking care of. You've got to be responsible for that. Like you've got to fight. You've got to be valiant. Like there's So the winning mindset is a bit of that all thrown in. Yeah.
I really like that, the winning mindset, and I think I'm just gonna now shift my perspective of winning. What does the winner look like?
A winner anatumia yes. A winner
is
yes.
use yes. So I wanted to ask Richard that you've come all this a long way from UK to Tanzania, and you see all these potentials in Zanzibar. You have seen the potential while you were far, but also while you were here, you came here and just saw it on your own eyes. What advice do you have for the youth in Tanzania who have similar interest in real estate and they don't even know where to start?
That's a really good question. I sense from our locals, followers and supporters that particularly a lot of young guys I notice, they're constantly reaching out to me and saying Richard, do you do how can I learn from you? Do you do mentoring? And actually, I've thought about this for years now, but I just don't know how to set anything like that. I would love to do something, for that, in that regard, because I would like to convey some of these messages in some sort of, group format, But I like to think that the reason we have achieved a decent following is because what I do looks accessible, I think. I'm not an architect, I'm not an engineer, I didn't go to any fancy university, I was kicked out of high school. I came here with nothing, I just rocked up off a boat, escaping my country that was turning into some sort of regime, So I think that story is relatable in the sense of people saying, well, there's no magic to this guy. And that's how I like to reveal that. I don't want to hide that. I don't want to pretend. I could be the opposite kind of guy who's no, you can't, I came from A, B, and C. No, it's not like that at all. It's just that I just have an attitude,
Yeah.
So the question is, how do I teach that? How do you
advise the young people? Where can they start? Because the major problem, I think, most of the youth that we meet and we talk to, they tend to pose a challenge that it's a financial issue that is hindering them back, setting them back.
Absolute rubbish. Mm-hmm. It's energy. It's energy and dynamic. I've recruited hundreds of people since I've been here, and a lot of people have not made it, And I would say that where there's a deficit of there's hope deficit, in some ways there's an energy deficit. People just don't have that absolutely positive killer spirit. There's there's a veil of, in the business world, I see it from my competitors. A lot of my competitors are just they have quite a bleak mindset to running business here, and probably they've kept a cloud over how the way businesses operate here for a long time. A lot of my foreign competitors are honestly not some of the best people I've ever met. A lot of people come here with a genuinely kind of controlling mindset, whereas I come with a very open mindset. I come from an open competition in London, competing with the best of the best. There's plenty of cake to go around. May the best man win, whatever, lead and inspire, be open. I think I try to teach that as much as possible to people, let's say by proxy, not directly.
Yes.
But it's that hope, it's that open hope and faith. I'm just joining dots,
mm-hmm.
right? What is a broker? Just connecting dots and charging a fee for it. That's how it starts. And literally, I'm a glorified beach boy. So you need to just get on with it. There's no, and honestly, I give a lot of change to there's a lot of beach boys around Padre. They know me well, and they always harass me. Go, Shivo, please, business is tough, and I'm always roasting them for it. I'm like, bro, you're surrounded by people here. Look, I could sell that coconut. Always joking, because there's a lot of them. I've known them for years and years and years, but it's just attitude.
It's just an attitude.
It's just attitude.
It's not the limited of funds. It's not lack of money, but it's more of an attitude.
And the energy, have the energy. And we believe that for the youth who are watching this, we know you have the energy, and we hope you're getting inspired by Richard. So please make that step and be bold. Like Richard. So Richard, you came. Now one of the projects you mentioned is Shivo Gardens and Shivo Towers, which is it's an incredible, one of a kind in the island of Zanzibar. This boldness and this daring spirit, it's very inspirational. Tell us about Shivo Towers.
Shivo Towers was Shivo Towers is so big because I saw the challenges we had with just trying to build 20 villas. Like there's so many hidden costs and there's so many structural issues to do with like the services at the time, you know, and things have actually got better because 3 years ago, like you had loads of power issues. So all the generator stuff, you know, that's all like been cleared up in the last 2 years. Like Padre now power is like really good. So like, but regardless, you've got to build the whole village just to build 20 villas. You've got to train all the subcontractors. You've got to import all the goods. So everything, like I just wanted everything to be the best quality, and I knew that that had a certain cost. So from the only way that you can override cost is through scale, economies of scale, and yeah, it's just vision really.
Yeah, and I really like the fact that you did keep this. I mean, you did combine the modern architecture and a local architecture all in once.
Yeah.
And I feel like it makes it more unique and more high quality.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah, I don't like this cookie cutter style.
Oh, cookie?
Cookie cutter, we call it when it's just like a load of like tiny apartments all in rows and like the facade of the building just like a grid, you know, like no.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, we advised the youth already, but what potential do you see in them, and what potential do you see in them in taking high the real estate industry? Okay,
so there's something about Zanzibar and the culture which has kept me here. There's a friendliness, there's an attitude, there's a love of like health. I love the fact that all the dudes are just working out on the beach. Like we don't have that. That was intimidating for me when I first arrived. When I first arrived in Nubia, I was like, I need to get in the gym, man. This is just like.
Are you in the gym right now?
Yeah, like I just kind of like I walk a lot and I do press ups and kind of like I don't really have time at the moment. You know, I should get in the gym. But I love all that. I love the kind of the dedication to like health and well-being, and then all the herbs and spices and the real foods that are there. I think that is like your foundations as a man and a woman. Is like it's good here. It's earthen. It's real. You're not like brainwashed by bullshit, you know what I mean? Like there's real life, real connections here, and I think for selling that is your best asset, because we've always talked about integrity, transparency, being like a real person. So you've got like real people here. You've got the foundations of a real society. I love Nyungu. I learned about Nyungu, right? Right. When I learned about that, I was like, this is the best thing in the world. We're given these tablets and we're just brainwashed from birth, and you've got to just pick the herbs out the garden. You know, I made just literally. I was so sick. It's the fastest I've ever recovered from flu in my life. In 4 hours, I was better. I've never recovered from flu that fast. And it was neem, it was, what are the other ones in New?
We have neem tree. We put some...
Is mint there? I don't know.
I
don't know how it's...
Ginger, we put the ginger, we put the garlic, we put like everything and make the concoction.
Nyungu.
Yeah, we call it nyungu.
Wow.
Like, so there's that practicality built into the culture, which I love. I just think that for selling to foreigners even, like that earthen mentality is really, really powerful. Because the foreign investors are sick of all this crap we have back home. We're tired of processed crap. I never go home anymore because I don't like it. I don't want to go back to a corner shop full of packets of crap from some multinational company where I can't even get a snack that's not made by some geezer who's like fried it in the corner behind the house up the road. You know, I like that. I like the fact I can buy the cassava chip and it's made by some guy 5 meters up the road. So like for me, the power comes from that real spirit.
Yeah.
Right. So where that comes easy. Now the challenge, I think, is the transparent integrity style. People see a lot of people selling on TV, or they see like movies and they get the wrong idea.
Yeah.
They think it's about like, you know, got to win and you know, taking cutthroat. Like, no, don't follow that kind of vibe. You know, like you can, when you're dealing with big money, they want integrity.
Yes.
They want long-term thinking. Right? They want you to be in the game, showing clear, transparent steps and progress and pure dedication. Don't dance between 1 minute you're, you know, selling tours, the next minute you're doing this. Like, that's not convincing or credible at all.
Yeah.
Right? Even I've got tempted to get involved in side hustles and stuff, but I have to say to myself, no, like my audience is not going to understand this if we're selling chickens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they're just not going to get it. So Richard, where's my money going? Like, you know, so so you have to be focused. You have to do one thing, and the other part of focus is you have to excel in something. And you can't convince somebody to give you money if you don't have the numbers off the top of your head like that.
Yeah, you
right?
have to be sharp.
And if you don't have the numbers off the top of your head, it's because last week you were doing boat tours, and the week before you were organizing an event at
There's
some place.
a lot of
There's too
things
much
that going
random
on.
stuff, and people, you can't raise money on those terms. You have to know exactly what you're doing. When people ring me up about Shivo Towers, I know every dimension, every price, every floor, every price per square meter. You know, every detail, I have it off the top of my head. Why? Because I'm living it.
You have to be
breathing
the
it.
master of your game.
Yes, you have to.
You have to be the Shivo of your game.
I was
Yes,
gonna say,
yes.
that's a good one. I think
Yes, I like that. You have to be Shivo of your game.
one thing I like that you said, that you have to do the numbers. When you talk about numbers, most of us personally, we struggle with finances, like, you know, putting everything there. And I think that's why Mix Tanzania is trying to be that financial partner to anyone who's using Mix, because they understand that maybe you would need support in your financial journey. So that's why if you're using Mix, please kila hatua Mix, kwa sababu Mix ipo kwa ajili ya kuwa na wewe in every step, allowing you to get loans, allowing you to save your money, allowing you to make better financial decisions, because through Mix you are able to be supported and reach that goal. So in that same question, do you have a financial advisor? Because you're dealing with a lot of numbers. And I can understand in one hand dealing with a project like that. Do you have a financial advisor or financial partner, somebody to keep you in check?
No, it's really, I just use my own experience, and, you know, I recognize, I've seen cycles of markets before, and I know, like, it's a bit like waves. You see them coming. Once you've seen them come and go, you know what a big wave looks like coming from a distance.
Yes.
You know, you start to learn it. So after a few market cycles, like, I know that we're watching a really big wave come here, so I can place a lot of bets on that wave. You know, so for example, you're talking about loans and stuff and investing in your business. Like, it's all about time and a place. Like, don't like spend all your money on window dressing and just sitting in a fancy office and hoping for the best.
Yes.
Like, you know, buy a nice suit, but like, don't go overboard in the wrong areas and think that it's going to make up for the fact that you don't have the confidence to get out there and win the deal.
Yeah.
Like, it's one thing wear the suit, but you've got to go and walk out on the street and get the clients. You know,
Yeah,
it's
true.
another thing. You need to, you know, you can buy some fancy D&G crocodile shoes, but you've got to walk the streets. You've got to wear them out. You know.
Yeah. You can have a courage to take a loan from Mix, but what you need is confidence as well.
Yeah. And so it's got to be in the right. You've got to study at least your market enough to know when's the right time to place the bets.
Yeah.
So it's like, I would bet everything on this market right now because I've seen it coming so many times and there's so many converging factors. If there was 30% of the market like factors going on positively at the moment, I would be all in.
Yeah.
But we've got like 6 different key things converging at once. You know, we've got like Paradise Island being developed for the first time with major infrastructure, major government changes. We've got power changes. We've got like, you know, massive sort of collapse of a lot of countries around, people looking to put money somewhere else. It's all happening at once here. So like, if you're not taking a risk now to invest in your market, then there's no other time, like in my view. And
Perfect. So we are going to an end. Shivo, thank you so much. Since you are the master of your game, you are the Shivo of your game. Do you know that Yas Tanzania is the Shivo of their game in Zanzibar?
I see it. I see it's happening. Yeah.
You see it's happening like everywhere. It's yes.
Yes.
And Yas Tanzania, we are trying also not to be the mobile company, but also to create a culture around youth and making sure that they're tapping into all these opportunities. And that is why we have you today, so that our generation Yas can actually understand where can they start and where can they reach to where you are right now. So Shivo, thank you so much for your time, and we appreciate all the masterminds that you gave us today.
Thank you.
We're
Beautiful.
definitely
So
going to
much.
use them.
Thanks,
And as anajua mtakuwa mnajiuliza sana, this is ZTE ambayo ni moja ya simu ambazo unaweza kuzipata katika maduka ya Yas. You can get this phone with a loan. You can start your digital journey, showcase your journey, document your journey. He just told us how social media has been able how he has been able to document his journey and also allow even the people who might invest in your business to see your journey so they can trust you. So,
Please, Nanda, please. Nanikopesha. Bye. Bye. Thank you so much, guys. Until next time, see you. Mwah.
Bye.
Oh, oh. Yes.